Good evening. My name is Janet MacKinnon, and I'm going to give you two papers today, one after the other individually. Project 1, Project 2 for Architecture 531. And I'd like to begin by sharing my screen. And I'm hoping that you can see. My project is on the Noli maps. And I'm going to walk you through it. There are about 10 maps I've selected. The Noli map, the 1748 Noli map was authored as a document by Jmp4 Noli, 1701 to 1758, an architect and surveyor who lived in Rome and dedicated his life to documenting this architectural and urban foundation of the architectural and urban foundations of the city. The details were depicted in the map of the city. Was accomplished using the scientific survey techniques, careful base drawings, and minutely prepared engravings. A precise architectural scale, a prominent compass rose with both magnetic north and astronomical north, graphically each map, and was the first accurate map of Rome since antiquity to capture the city at the height of its cultural and artistic achievements. As the historic center of Rome has changed little over the last 270 years, the Noli map remains one of the best sources for understanding the contemporary city. Modern survey and sophisticated aerial photographies have confirmed the accuracy of the Noli's map within the very smallest of errors. And I go on to describe that there are 12 copper engravings, and they are about 6 feet high by 7 feet wide. And they have constitute the Noli map. The map includes almost 8 square miles of the densely built city, as well as the surrounding terrain, which is what we're going to look at. Noli's map is a technical achievement as a milestone in the art and science of cartography. The detail in the map representation ensures its value as a unique historical document, giving viewers a rare glimpse into the ancient metropolitan center during one of its most illustrious periods. There are 1,320 sites in all, were included in the original Noli map. However, I wish to visit only a few of the sites represented on the map. In Rome, the index of maps includes churches, ruins, strata, or streets, residences, chapels. However, I wish to utilize the map to show the land use around Rome. At this time, the map was made. I'm interested in the main use of the land at the time. Who owned the land and what was the land used for at the time? It's a research project to find out how the land supported the culture in preparation for my Project 2 paper on Giordano Bruno, philosopher and heretic. So what I was looking for in my looking at the Noli maps was, and this is a map that has all the buildings represented on it and all the land use on it. So you can see it's a fairly complete map. And what I was looking for was fragments in the cultural fabric, fibers that were loose, that could give an indication of what was going on at the time. So what I looked for originally with the Noli maps in project 1, I looked for the land use. And in particular, I was thinking that perhaps the loss of an agrarian society perhaps was an indication of why things were going south. I had a feeling things were going south. I don't know. Maybe it was just all of the churning and broiling of the Renaissance period. But it just seemed, and I'll get into this more in my paper, project 2, it seemed that something was going on and something wasn't quite right. So I went looking for it. And this is a NOLI map of the public lands. And it was interesting for me to find out that the public lands, for the most part, are unidentified, which meant that they really weren't in an issue. The next one I looked at was orchards, and I didn't find anything irregular in the presentation of the orchards. And this one is gardens, and you can see right here where my cursor is the Vatican. So there was nothing that I found about gardens as being a source of disruption. But this map shows all of the parks, the orchards, the vineyards. The vineyards are in dark green, and the beige is villas. So it shows basically everything except for the buildings and the monasteries. This is a piece. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. Campidoglio. And what this is I put this in as a representation of other aspects of the NOLI maps that are of note. And this one is particular about urban planning on a civic plaza level. And what I find interesting about this is there's a coffee stain on it. And there's a construction site that's off territory back here. And I just find it an interesting window into Noli's life, actually, as a cartographer and architect. He drew these by hand. They were beautifully engraved and documented. And to have this level of detail must have been very satisfying for him to complete. Now, my project 2 story is about Giardo Bruno, and he was a Dominican monk who lived in Naples and various other places, but he stayed in the Santa Maria Dominican convent when he went to Rome in various times of his career. I will talk more about that in project 2. So I put that in, and then this is the NOLI map of the Santa Maria Sopra Minerva, Titolo Cardinalizio Convento del Dominicani. And this is the level of detail that NOLI's map contains. And there are my sources, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. Thank you. I'm going to not share my screen anymore and say goodbye to you in person. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording now.